Have you ever wondered how criminals take a huge pile of illegal cash and somehow make it spendable, legitimate? It sounds like something straight out of a movie, but trust me, it's happening all around us. So today, we're going to pop the hood and take a look at the money laundering machine.
So let's start with the basic problem. Imagine you're let's say, a very successful criminal. You've got this weird problem, not a lack of money, but way too much of it. And it's all physical cash. I mean, you can't just stroll into a bank with a giant duffel bag full of bills and expect to make a deposit. That's going to raise a few eyebrows, right? So what do you do?
Well, that's where this term comes in, money laundering. And honestly, it's surprisingly literal. It's the process of taking that dirty money, cash from illegal activities, and running it through a cycle that makes it look clean, like it came from a totally legitimate source.
And that's really the whole point. The end goal is to get that cash into the real financial system, into a bank account, without setting off any alarms. The money needs a believable story, a legit-looking background.
Okay, so how did they create that believable story? Well, they use a classic technique, a front, a totally normal, legitimate business that acts as a cover. You can think of this business as a literal washing machine for cash. It's the perfect place to mix the dirty money with clean money until you can't tell the difference.
Now, to really get our heads around this, let's use a super simple, everyday example, a neighborhood restaurant. It's just the perfect case study because it's something we all get, and it shows the mechanics of the whole wash perfectly.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this wash actually work? It's not just one thing. It's a whole cycle. And we can break that cycle down into a pretty simple 3-step guide.
So here's the roadmap. It all starts with step 1, the setup. That's where they create the front. Then comes the most important part, the real magic trick. Step 2, mixing the funds. And finally, it all wraps up with step 3, legitimization, which is all about getting that money into the system. Let's walk through each one.
First up, the setup. The criminal needs a real operating business to be their front. And the best kind of business is one that deals with a lot of cash anyway. Places like a restaurant, a laundromat, a car wash. It just makes it so much easier to blend in all that extra cash without anyone noticing.
Now for the heart of the whole operation, mixing the funds. This is where it gets clever. Once the business is up and running, they literally just start adding the illegal dirty cash into the cash register, right alongside the money from actual customers. The two piles of money are now physically mixed together in the same drawer.
And check out how simple the math is. Let's say the restaurant really only made $10 from paying customers. The owner then slips $20 of their dirty money into the till. Now, when it's time to do the books for the day, they don't say they made $10. Nope, they report $30 in revenue. And just like that, the dirty money looks like it was earned legally.
And that brings us to the final step, legitimization. That blended total, the $30, is deposited into the restaurant's official bank account. As far as the bank is concerned, the restaurant just had a pretty good day. The money is now officially in the financial system, and its dirty past has been completely erased. It's clean.
But of course, a restaurant is just one example of a washing machine. This same basic idea, mixing dirty funds into what looks like a legit transaction, can be done in a whole bunch of other ways.
Yeah, this goes way beyond restaurants. You've got casinos. That's a classic, right? Buy a ton of chips with dirty cash, play for a little bit, then cash out with a nice, clean check from the casino for your winnings. Buying expensive art and real estate also works because the prices are so huge and subjective. And these days, you bet cryptocurrency is a huge new frontier for making the money trail almost impossible to follow.
So it sounds almost too easy, doesn't it? But is it really a clean getaway? Let's talk about the consequences and the final takeaway here.
And we have to be absolutely crystal clear on this point. Everything we've just talked about is highly, highly illegal. Money laundering comes with massive penalties. We're talking serious prison time. So just to be clear, this is an explainer, not a how-to guide.
So why is this such a big deal? Why does it matter? Because money laundering is basically the engine that powers organized crime. Think about it. Without a way to use their profits, big criminal operations would have a really hard time functioning, let alone growing. This is the key that unlocks all that criminal wealth and makes it usable.
And all of this leaves us with one last, kind of unsettling thought to chew on. Once you understand how this works, you start seeing the potential for it everywhere. And it makes you wonder, how much of the legitimate economy that we interact with every single day is actually anything but?